To dive deeper into the state of the economy, former senior economic advisor to President Trump, Steve Moore, joining us tonight. Steve, in reacting to GDP data showing a shrinking economy, Trump began his cabinet meeting emphasizing a growth in gross domestic investment. What do you see as the impact of Trump's big, beautiful bill, as he calls it, on investments in the U.S.?
Well, first of all, the GDP report was negative, and we never like to see that. I think part of that was attributable to the sort of leftovers of Bidenomics. But what is really also true, though, is that one of the things that had been driving GDP growth under Joe Biden was the massive growth of government. Remember, we increased the size of government by trillions and trillions of dollars. Trump has brought a screeching halt to that. In fact, the government number, which is one component of GDP, was negative, which is good. We want to contract government. It's way too big. We're borrowing too much money. At the same time, we did see a big increase, a very healthy increase in business investment, which really is, in my opinion, the most important component to these economic statistics, because when we have businesses investing more, as you see on the screen there, it's good for workers, it's good for businesses, it's good for America's economic might. And so that was a very healthy sign. But I am worried about, what's to come in the quarter ahead. So, remember, if we have one more negative quarter, we would be effectively in a recession.
So you mentioned those, the companies and the investments, and there are a slew of companies, big names, yeah. Apple, Eli Lilly, all talking about expansion here in the U.S. But with all of these companies talking about investing here over the long term, while economists say, okay, that makes sense, in the short term, what do people do? What do you tell to the people that are managing their pocketbooks every month and are saying, gosh, this is painful?
Yeah, it has been painful. I know I've lost a lot of money in the last couple of months, and most Americans do have money either in their retirement accounts or investing in the stock market. And so we want to see a healthy stock market. It's really struggled in the last couple of months, and in no small part because of the tariff wars. So first of all, my advice to people is don't sell stocks when they're low and they've fallen. So people sometimes get panicked and then they sell low. You want to actually buy when the stocks are low and sell them when they're high. So my advice to investors is just stay with the program. I think Trump has said short-term pain for long-term gain. I think he may be able to pull that off if he can get some of these trade deals. And then I think the economy will be much rosier.
One quick question, Steve. You speak about the impact of the trade deals, but I'm hearing repeatedly from investors and business owners that a recession has already started. The U.S. economy just had its worst quarter since 2022. Do you agree with all of that? Do you think that a recession has already started? Can that possibly be offset by all of these trade deals?
Yeah, it can be. It's too early to say whether we're going to have a recession because, we're only we're only 1/3 of the way through the second quarter, so we don't know what's going to happen in the next couple of months. I do think it is imperative that we get some progress on these trade deals with the major countries like Korea and Japan and India and the Brits and Europe. And if he can do that, then I think the outlook looks really positive. Remember, these other countries would be lowering their tariffs on American-made goods, which would be a positive thing. But of course, the other thing that has to happen, we got to get that big, beautiful tax bill done. If we don't get that done at the start of next year, we're facing the biggest tax increase in American history. So those are the two unknowns right now. And Trump really needs to have victories on both of them.
We are watching those closely. We'll be in touch. Former senior economic advisor to President Trump, Steve Moore, thank you for joining us tonight on the National News Desk.
Thank you.